position, which leads to consistency on your football team. This team is like this because their quarterback's like that.
You know what? He admits that expectations were so high. Sometimes he felt like he did have to be Superman.
But he can't. That's not the role. Right. He plays Superman behind a great running game and a great defense. He can do all. You saw it. They start Gavin. They get nobody's front running faster. I mean, he can really run the table, and there's no question about it. But when he has to start from scratch without that help, he is not prepared to go carry all that water. That's not his thing.
It's ironic that his thing is the Superman celebration. That's ironic. Well, I just remember watching this team last year. They could do nothing wrong. They were a great running team, a great defense, all that stuff. But the chemistry that he had with his tight end Greg Olsen, on top of the fact that they were such an amazing running team, it was a charmed season. Everything went right for this team. And I think much like we've seen around the league, whether it be the Arizona Cardinals or teams that had great years last year, the New York Jets, you can't just show up and expect to have a great year again this year. And for me, it almost feels like this team expected that this season was going to come easy. But instead, they've had a bullseye on their chest, and when these tight games have come, they have not answered the bell like they did much of last year.
Y'all talking about what happened to the Carolina Panthers. I tell you what, there's a lot of defensive coordinators that were sick and tired of the Carolina Panthers dabbing, dancing in their stadium. So what did they have to do? They had to stop them from getting in that end zone. So I think a lot of the hits took away from the running game that the Carolina Panthers was unable to do this year. But then I'm going to flip sides for you on the defensive side of the ball. Knowing that their defensive line have been getting pressures in the last month and a half, but to me, it's the youth and the inexperience in the secondary. You know, when they let Josh Norman go, you had two corners, very young rookies, coming in to be able to duplicate what they were able to do in the last couple years. So I know a lot of the blame falls on Cam Newton. He's on our TVs. He's selling a lot of jerseys. But when you look down, get to the bottom of it, I think their youth and their inexperience in their secondary, because a lot of teams are definitely picking on their youth, because if you look from last year, they were like 230 yards. The teams were throwing on them. This year's almost close to 300 yards. So I think a lot of it falls on the secondary, because if you look at the front seven, those guys are still playing ball. So to me, not picking on the young guys, but it is what it is. The writing's on the wall. They got to play a little bit better on that back end.
I like the term you used about their season last year, charm. It really was charm, and maybe they didn't realize it. They thought it was just going to be easier. Just show up and play the game. All the good stuff's going to happen.
Some of the young guys had never lost a game.
Yeah, but charm was a way that it was fun seven on defense. They ran